Hey, what's up guys? Gons here with this week's word of encouragement. It comes from Galatians 5 verses 25 and 26. Here's what it says. If we live by the Spirit, let us also keep in step with the Spirit. Let us not become conceited, provoking one another, envying one another. Now first it says, if we live by the Spirit, let us also keep in step with the Spirit. That word in step in Greek is stoikeo, and it means to walk in line with, or to be in line with. So in a sense, because the Spirit has given you life, that's one aspect, but the other aspect is letting the Spirit lead you in your walk. And it alludes to your daily habits, your mindset, and it's important to point out because of the clarity Paul gives in verse 26. Let us not become conceited, provoking one another, envying one another. Now this chapter, Galatians 5, is about the fruit of the Spirit. And what Paul is warning against here is the success one might see when they live by the Spirit and also keeping in step with the Spirit can lead some people to become extremely conceited. And I'm willing to bet that we've run into people like this if we've been around churches. And not that we're free from it. I think all of us need to guard from this. But it does cause this provoking one another and envying one another, trying to outdo each other's goodness or holiness. And it can become a really silly game and really defeat the purpose of being in step with the Spirit to begin with. Conceit can also be being closed off to people who disagree with whatever your view is on any particular issue. And this is actually very dangerous, especially for Christians, because if you are a follower of Christ, that means the truth dwells within you. So being someone who has the truth in them, there's this grave responsibility to conduct yourself in a proper, appropriate manner that actually does produce fruit. But it's also really interesting that this chapter closes with the idea of not becoming envious of one another, because ultimately it's really easy to place blame on other people or other groups for all the woes and all the problems. But Paul here is saying inherently the difference between succumbing to the desires of the flesh and actually being in step with the Spirit, producing the fruit of the Spirit, is within each of us. It's within our hearts, and it's within what we desire and seek after. And so if we envy one another, then we forget to look up. We start looking at each other and comparing each other instead of looking up and saying, God set the standard here, and that it's through His Son that we are saved. So I hope this encourages you to, I guess, think vertical instead of horizontal in comparing yourself with other people. And that's not to say you can't do that, because you can find inspiration and motivation from others. But don't cross the line to where you become envious. And on the flip side, don't be so conceited to think that you have all the answers, because none of us do. We're all just here who want to love God, want to love other people, and share the truth that is found in the gospel message of Jesus Christ. Have an awesome week, guys. God bless.